Passion, it's our beat. We tell stories from the B side of history, radio stories about the hidden parts of life, traditions that people carry from one country to another, across one generation to the next, stories from voices that are seldom heard on the airwaves, voices from the margins, from the edges. We're drawn to people who are possessed by a vision, by a mission, by a plan, with a principle and a plan.
We produce these sprawling nationwide collaborations with National Public Radio and with listeners across the country. We like to pull everybody into what we're doing. And so we open up phone lines and ask people to call us and tell us what they're thinking when we start a new series. We've done things like Lost and Found Sound about vanishing voices and people possessed by sound and sounds on the verge of extinction. We did the Hidden World of Girls series about women and girls who, and their coming of age and rituals and rites of passage, secret identities. And the Hidden Kitchen series about secret, unexpected, below-the-radar cooking, how communities come together through food. When we do this, as I said, we open up a phone line and we involve people in the process. And one of the first phone calls that came in the Hidden Kitchens series was one that completely surprised us and sort of set the tone for the whole rest of the series. We're going to play a bit of that for you today to just give you an idea of what that sort of collaborative process is, pulling people and their passions to tell stories, their passions to tell secrets, and to have their voices heard. That's what these series bring out in our audiences.
Message 23 was received at 1:10 p.m. today.
I'm Margaret Engel, a woman who works for Legal Aid, who's talking to me about how many of her clients get dinner. The people who struggle to even get food on the table because they don't have an official kitchen and who are using George Foreman grills and the like. The George Foreman grill has been an amazing success story as a kitchen appliance, but what I think many people don't realize is that immigrants and low-income people have contributed to that popularity. That is, to me, the epitome of the hidden kitchen.
Wow, what a wonderful story. I'd never considered it at all. I'm George Foreman, two-time heavyweight champion of the world, former Olympic champion, and king of the grills. Growing up in Houston, Texas, my whole life was spent trying to get enough to eat. Having 7 kids, my mother did, and there just was never enough food for me. I always dreamed about not a car, not a beautiful home, but enough to eat.
My name Piggly Wiggly. I've got groceries on my shelf.
My name is Jeffrey Newton, Chicago. I'm a great cook, a trait that I had learned from my grandmother, but I just haven't had a kitchen. I'm living in a shelter at this particular time, but I've been homeless all my life. I lived under Wacker Drive, where the expressway goes through, and there's about 30 or 40 refrigerator boxes down there. That's going to be your home. I would get the George Foreman grill. That's the grill that I had for a while under Wacker Drive, me and a fellow by the name of Smokey. So you just get your long extension cord. They got a lot of electrical plugs on the poles down there, and just hook up. We was making hamburgers and grilled cheese sandwiches, because we used to take an iron and do that too. Press down, your bread and your cheese.
My name is Pat Sherman, and I'm the program coordinator of the Walk-In Center here at Glide, San Francisco. When I was in the single room occupancies, I couldn't cook in my room. Well, legally I couldn't. I'd get me a big bowl, put me some ice in it, and voila, that became my refrigerator. Microwaves, toaster ovens, hidden under the bed or in the closet. The George Foreman grill, that's the newest thing. Doesn't set off the smoke detectors. And since they come in colors, it just looks like you're getting real fancy in your room and decorating. And it looks like you have a nice tabletop to the visible eye. But you know it's your kitchen.
It's a special TV offer from the king of the grill, George Foreman.
My lean mean fat reducing grilling machine.
I grew up in Houston, Texas, in the Fifth Ward area. Every day at lunch during the summer days, you'd hear the parents call the kids in. They would just tell me, okay, go home and eat your lunch. And these people knew I had no food at home. And I'd peep through the window at the kids eating, and the parents would peel the crust off the bread, and I would sit there and just hope they would just throw that out the window for me. Going to school, you go through the lunch line, 26 cents. I couldn't afford that. And I'd sit at the table, and it was so embarrassing. So what I would do, I'd get a greasy bag, blow it up on the way to school to make it look like there was a sandwich in it. Then I'd get to my classroom and say, boy, I ate my lunch. And I learned to disguise my not having food.
So that's an excerpt from a longer piece, and George goes on to say that, after years of being hungry and going without and turning into an angry, fighting man, he really, his passion became food. When he quit boxing, he found that people no longer really came around very much, and he was lonely. But that if he barbecued and if he cooked salmon and steaks, they started coming round again. So he really kind of picked up on that. He also opened up all these sports centers for kids in Houston that are really, really popular and important, and to teach the kids boxing, but more importantly, to make sure that they have 3 meals a day. I mean, his whole motto is feed them.
We've been recording interviews and oral histories for some 30 years, and over that time we've amassed a collection of some 30,000 recordings. We call it the Accidental Archive, and that's what we're dipping from today for you. Studs Terkel, the scrappy, gnarly, passionate oral historian from Chicago, said, "I tape, therefore I am. We tape, therefore we are." And our motto is tape everything that moves. You just never know when a story's going to jump out of the bushes and grab you. Always pack your piece. That's another motto that we have. From the start, we've always carried our gear with us everywhere we go. In the beginning, it was reel-to-reels, and then cassette recorders, and then DATs and mini discs, and now it's flash drives and hard drives and iPhones. And you just always got to be ready. And so in 1979, when we were at a Tupperware party, we were invited to a Tupperware party, we brought our cassette player with us and pressed record. This was a clan of people so possessed.
And passionate.
Passionate. They could make a plastic bowl very compelling.
I'm Lucky Laurel, and I'm your Tupperware dealer.
She's Lucky Laurel, and I'm Joyful Joan.
That's Lucky Laurel.
I think some people are just Tupperware people. Do you know what I mean?
I'm an addict, a Tupperware addict. I'm ordering much more than I need, and I can't stop myself. It's part of my upbringing, part of my heritage. Don't tell me.
Loony Lisa.
This is a pocket comb, or you can massage your scalp, or scrub your vegetables, or pet your cat. Please use it for only one of those following things. This might be a fact that you don't know. You do not burp square containers. Only round seals do you burp.
This is called the Scrape-A-Mall. To clean the grooves out of your Tupperware.
This is probably my 7th or 8th Tupperware party. And at every Tupperware party, you feel like you need to buy one thing for the hostess. So here I am buying a Shape-O.
I think it takes a lot of courage to have a Tupperware party.
As long as it hasn't, been abused, the Tupperware.
I've got Tupperware that I've had for 30 years, I guess, and most of it's good yet.
My mother always used Tupperware, and I remember after every holiday, like at Passover, Rosh Hashanah, all the leftover simmus and gefilte fish went into the Tupperware containers.
Tomorrow's my 12th year in Tupperware. I used to be a deputy sheriff. I had done that for 10 years. After 6 months, I quit that security job I had, and then 3 months later, I became a manager. And I love it.
What do you like about it?
The money. I love the positive input instead of the negativeness that I used to have in law enforcement.
9, 5, 3.
Is there a Tupperware union?
No, It's an opportunity company. Anybody's welcome to join to be a Tupperware dealer. Tupperware treats you so well, you wouldn't have anything to bargain for.
And what are the fringe benefits of Tupperware?
your buying power to buy Tupperware, the gifts that you earned. The last contest that we have, I earned an American of Martinsville sofa.
I've earned an organ, a microwave.
I've won a trip. I've gotten a brass bed.
And of course, I guess you know Tupperware gives us cars, too.
A lot
In
of
fact, I'm due to get a new one.
I've won a $900 set of Noritake china.
Diamond enameled ring from Tupperware.
Crystal dinner bells.
My station wagon. I mean, I have a brand new station wagon
boxes,
just about
little
every year.
feminine things that women love.
So that's the plastic bowl party. Some people look at a pie and they see a pie. And some people look at a pie and they see a weapon for social change, like Georgia Gilmore, a woman from Montgomery, Alabama in the 1950s, whose passion for civil rights and social justice equaled her passion for cooking.
Georgia started a surreptitious group called the Club from Nowhere, women who would secretly bake pies and cakes and sell them at beauty parlors, and she raised money to help support the bus boycott in Montgomery. And when this message came in on our Hidden Kitchens hotline, we were on a plane the next day to Montgomery. One thing we've learned over 30 years of storytelling together, when the story is deep and hot, get to the flame.
Hey, my name's John T. Edge, and I live down in Oxford, Mississippi, and direct the Southern Foodways Alliance. There's a woman y'all need to know about. Her name's Georgia Gilmore. She was a cook in the 1950s in Montgomery, Alabama. And when I think of Hidden Kitchens, I think about the story of her backdoor restaurant, her secret kitchen that fueled the civil rights movement.
Hey, how you doing? You live on the street. Do you know where Miss Gilmore used to stay?
Yeah, Miss Georgia Gilmore. That's Miss Gilmore's house down there. You see that marker down there, that historical marker?
Oh, yeah, I see it now. You see the plaque in the yard?
George Teresa Gilmore. I'm her son, Councilman Mark Gilmore, Jr.
Georgia Gilmore.
She could cook.
1920, 1990.
She was a stone cook.
Her food was cooked on the mama level. And Georgia was like Big Mama. Southern type mamas, maybe 10 or 15 of them.
Now, my mother at the time was a midwife by profession. She cooked at National Lunch Company in Montgomery when the movement started. When Mrs. Rose Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat in 1955. Mama got involved in the bus boycott.
She lost her job because management learned of her being a part of this movement that was going on. My name is Johnny Rebecca Carr, and I am the 5th president of the Montgomery Improvement Association.
Stop that Alabama bus, I don't wanna ride.
During the bus boycott, City of Montgomery brought suit against King and 90 other members of the Montgomery Improvement Association in March of 1956. They were claiming that the bus boycott was an unlawful conspiracy. Georgia Gilmore testified in court. She, in essence, called out this bus driver who had kicked her off the bus. When Miss Gilmore stood up in court, she got fired.
You cannot be afraid if you want to accomplish anything. You got to have the willing, the spirit, and above all, you got to have the get up.
Everybody could tell you Georgia Gilmore didn't take no junk. I'm Reverend Al Dixon. If you pushed her too far, she'd say a few bad words, and if you pushed her any further, she would, she'd hit you.
She was swift on her feet. She could move. Mama weighed about 350, 400 pounds. Martin Luther King called her tiny.
God is a battle axe.
What is it about men and meat and midnight and a pit? Ask David Close, he'll tell you, but watch out once he gets started. We met him in a parking lot at dawn on the outskirts of Houston, alone, grilling shrimp, lynx, ribs, on a grill the size of a semi, a grill he tricked out himself that looked more like the Endeavor than a Weber. This is a man possessed by smoke.
This is what we call bling bling. It's a standard mobile pit, feeds about probably 600 people, 20-foot trailer, 7 foot wide. It's got 24 karat gold mags and handles. I had a friend of mine dip them, electroplate them in gold. It has a 2 by 4 foot sliding steak grill on the nose. and fish frying burner for doing, deep frying turkeys and peanut oil, boiling corn, frying catfish and all. It's got gas injection, 160,000 BTU for lazy man cooking. On top of the firebox is a 1-inch solid granite Lazy Susan, hold pots of coffee at the perfect temperature for keeping them warm. As you go around back, we've got an infrared grill that cooks at 2,000 degrees for nuke and cowboy steak. Behind that, you have gold sinks, 24-inch 3 LMB satellite dish. It's got a DVR recorder that holds 100 motion pictures, DVD players, satellite radio, satellite TV. This is solar powered as well as electric powers. So I can run the lights, the TV, radio, and all that off of the solar power. The lighting on the trailer will flash to the music. And we can even rig it where Jack Daniels and Coke comes out of the faucets. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to plan anything. You don't even have to have food. All I have to do is pull that pit up on a cul-de-sac and get out and light it. And people will start showing up with food, hay bales. People will party at the drop of a hat. The paint job on the trailer is a Ferrari Metal Flake Burgundy. Should last about 100 years. I could have had a Maserati or this barbecue pit. Now, what Texan would have picked the Maserati? None of them. This is forever. This is always going to be here. Maybe they'll find it hundreds of years from now and wonder what the hell this was, I won't stop till I made everything in the world into a barbecue pit. I want one on the moon. I've talked to the administrator in NASA, ceramic fiber finish with platinum coils inside with solar panels, probably an oxygen-fixed environment inside. When people land, I want them to see the world's first close interplanetary grill. That sings. I'll give them the rest of the money I make the rest of my life if they'll put one on the moon for me. That's a scratch on the planet that you were here. The rest of it's moot.
The rest of it's moot. That's my favorite line. And we have a new obsession, and it's a new series we're doing with KQED called The Making Of. The making of the Bay Bridge, the making of a jar of jam, the making of the iPhone, an opera, a surfboard, a neighborhood, what people make in the Bay Area and why. And we'd love it if you join us at the break in that beautiful mural room and let us know what you're making and what we should know about, and we'll help tell your story passionately. Thank you.